Hello everyone, today I'm gonna make a part 2.5 on the unit guide. I wanted to talk more about the last video was more about only talking about, okay, pikemen are weak against this, melee units are weak against this and this, but today I want to go more in depth about what units can do and what they are for, because units have orders and trades. I want to make this video today only about trades, but if the video is not too long, I will also talk about orders. And if the video is gonna be too long, I'm gonna suspend the orders or orders explained video to next week. That way you guys don't get mixed up, don't think weirdly about things, and it will be more easier to obtain, realize, learn from it, so you don't get tangled up in too long videos that you don't want to watch, too complicated videos. Just casually explained what are trades. If the video is not too long, I will also talk about orders, or if it's too long, I will talk about the orders and formations that units can provide. I will talk about that next week to give a little bit of clarification about what, just for you guys to better realize what they can do. So, let's talk about something real quick. In this game there are units. But these units, okay, when you click on a unit and go to view unit details, there are something called unit traits. Now, you may be asking, for someone that doesn't know what these are, what do these traits do? Well, I will explain that in this video. Okay, there are in total 65 different traits that have their own explanation, their own pros and cons, and I will explain them one by one for you guys to just what they are, realize what they are, and traits can also be really good use also for what kind of play style you can use while using this unit. So try to focus, try to listen very carefully, and just look these units up yourself, or the traits up yourself, and from there you can think, okay, these units have this traits, these are good, I can do this kind of play style with this type of unit, or there are bad traits on certain units, so I cannot do these certain play styles on these type of units. So let's start. As I said before, 65 different traits. There are 55 good traits. They show you, okay, what kind of playstyle what unit can do. So you have, for example, the anti-cavalry trait. This is a good trait because this means that this unit is really good in fighting cavalry. So that will tell you immediately, okay, I can use this unit against very carefully against cavalry. So if a territorial war happens and there's a cavalry in front of you, you can know with this unit that has this anti-cavalry trait, I can use a playstyle anti-cavalry unit playstyle. There are 3 neutral traits. They're not bad, they're not good, they're just a little bit of a reminder, okay, they're mediocre, just think about these traits, and they're more a reminder of what they can do and what they are. So they're not good, they're not bad, they're neutral. They're more of a better explanation of what the unit is, so don't worry about it. And then there are 7 bad traits. Watch out for these bad traits, because they can tell you what they cause to a unit, and what they will tell you what a unit can and cannot do in certain playstyles. So you have cheap weapons, which are low accuracy and not good against heavy armament. So a playstyle against, let's say, heavy armor units, don't use these cheap weapon units against the heavy armor units because they're not good against them. So bad traits are only there for to tell you this unit can do not this playstyle, not this playstyle, not this playstyle, and please remind it yourself every time you play this unit that they're very bad or they can easily get killed because they have these bad traits. So 55 good traits, 3 neutral and 7 bad traits. Let's start first, of course, with the best, the perfect good traits, because they're the most, and of course we only want to hear the good things in game and not the bad things. So let's start with the first one. Those are feudal laborers. These are mostly on the earlier tech tree units, and what this will do is this unit will give you more resources when going to resources on the map and gather resources. Then you have armor penetration. What this trait do is literally a unit with this trait will punch easier through heavy armor or good armor than other units. And the cavalry trait will do more. A unit with this trait will do more damage against every cavalry unit that is up against them. The adaptable trait. A unit with this trait has more veterancy points for more combat usage. So veteran points can upgrade a unit when it level ups, and with this veteran points you can make the unit better at other playstyles than it used to be. That you can use it before. The shock troop traits. With this trait, the unit is better at the charge order and melee fighting than long melee fighting. So you can charge in with the charge order, but they cannot sustain a long melee fight. So charge in and just run back as fast as possible with this trait. Melee fighters trait. Units with these traits are good at melee combat. Very simple. Shield breaker trait. Units with this trait will do more damage against shielded and armored units. Heavy armor trait will make every unit with this trait harder to kill because they have heavy armor. Fireproof trait. Units with this trait will take less damage or no damage from fire. Relentless trait. Units with this trait make some hold their formation better under pressure, and the advanced order does more damage. Advanced is a certain order we'll explain in a different video or later in this video. Own supply line trait. Units with this trait, you don't have to buy any kits for them, so the kits can be very expensive, but you don't have to because they have their own supply line and they will get their own kits. Exemplar trait. Units with this trait get a 10% will give a 10% XP and honor bonus to you and your units in your battle group. Engineer trait. Units with this trait will take less damage, and the siege engines when this unit is using a siege engine will take less damage. So when this unit is using a siege engine, not only will the siege engine take less damage in total, but also the units themselves will take less damage. Assault troop trait will do more units with this trait will do more damage when the charge order is used. Portraiture drill trait. Units with this trait has a special orders that they can use in battles. So with this trait you get specialized orders that no other units can get staunch defenders. Okay, sorry, I said it wrong. Staunch defenders trait. Units with this trait makes them good against enemy advances and take less damage from that advance. Advance is a order. We'll explain again in a different video. Dual wielder trait. Units with this trait have 2 weapons they can use in battle. So no one weapon or 2. They don't have 1 weapon, but they have 2. So they can be used in different types of situations. Bashers trait. Units with this trait will do only blunt damage. So no piercing or something else, only blunt. Very heavy armor trait. Units with this trait will literally become a tank, but they will become slower because they have more armor. Heavy shields trait. Units with this trait have good protection from the front, but not from the back. So good protection, really good protection from front, but not from back. So watch out for that. Ring of Steel trait. Units with this trait have a good defense from every direction. So this is literally a special order or formation which causes the entire shield unit to become a circle. So I will explain again in a different version, in a different video, or later in this video. Flying Shield trait. Units with this trait will throw their shield at the enemy. So Captain America all over again. Javelier's trait. This trait will units with this trait will throw javelins at enemies, but they can also melee fight with these javelins as well. So watch out for that. Melee Master's trait. Units with this trait are really good at melee combat. So think about that. Poison Arrows trait. Units with these traits, units with this trait will get poisoned arrows that poisoned enemies over time, so they will take damage over time. Castle Archers trait. Unit with this trait are good at fighting from high grounds to shoot down onto their enemies. Long ranged trait. Every unit that has this trait are skilled to take down enemies from a distance, so the accuracy over a distance keeps. They not only have good long range, but they also have good long range accuracy. Think about that. Flaming Arrows trait. This unit, because it's only 1 unit, will shoot flaming arrows, or only in this patch until now, okay. Shoots flaming arrows that set enemies on fire, so they will, again, just like poison arrows, take damage over time because they've been set on fire. Penetrating Shots trait. Units with this trait will penetrate the first target and damage the second one. So the first target will also get a little bit of damage, but the major damage goes to the second one. Numerous trait. Units with this trait get a big group of archers, so they're with a large group of people. Gorilla's trait. They can move. Units with this trait can move and fire at the same time. Fast firing trait. Units with this trait will have a high rate of fire trait. Yeah. Sharpshooters trait. Units with this trait have a high accuracy overall, so they're good at firing their arrows everywhere. Bodkin Arrows trait. Units with this trait will get a arrow that can punch through plate armor and deals also a certain amount of damage to the unit itself, or will get the unit that they've hit will get a debuff. Firearms trait. Every unit with this trait has a high damage and penetration, so high damage and high penetration, but low accuracy. Fire by ranks trait. Units with this trait have a constant rate of fire. Parry and block trait. Every unit with this trait can parry enemies' melee attacks with their own, so they are better. Every range unit worse at melee than these units with this trait, because they can actually sort of defend themselves still. Heavy recoil trait. This is actually a good one. I don't know why it's good, but you know, not. But this trait, everyone with this trait makes them have less accuracy. So I don't know why this is a good trait. It's more a bad trait, but it's still on the good trait side. So maybe something went wrong for the developers, but you know, don't talk about it. Long charge range. Every unit with this trait can have a longer run when they use a charge order. Swift trait. Unit with this trait makes them faster on the battlefield itself, so they move faster around. Light attack trait. Units with this trait can fire on the enemy while on the move, so they're on horseback instead of standing around. Regroup and retry trait. Units with this trait will are best used to attack enemies from behind. So used to attack from behind is the charge order, and they will repeat it again and again until you say stop it, or make them regroup somewhere else, or try again later. Melee cavalry trait. Units with this trait makes them good at melee fighting too. So they're not only good at charging in, but they're also very good at fighting after they've charged in. Sprinters trait. Units with this trait have a faster charge but a shorter range. So when they use a range, or when you use the charge order, a normal unit would go further, but this unit will go shorter than the other units, but they will be way faster and will do way more damage over that small charge. Archer's foe. This units with this trait are literally the archer's nightmare. Just they get wrecked when you use these units against archers. Shielded unit trait, or shielded trait. These are horseback people and not walking around people, so they're a little bit different. But shielded trait units, or more cavalry units, can use shield to protect themselves from arrows. They're not fully protected, but they can protect themselves more. Fire lances trait. This unit, there's only one, can use war lances, not fire lance, but war lances, to devastate units with his lance. So their charge can do a lot of damage with his war lancers. Well, war lances. Then you got fire lances trait. Unit, so only one unit, but this trait will do great firepower at short range. So like a shotgun, is what I've been told. I've never seen it in action, or I've never used it myself, but I've been told by more experienced people that this unit is literally a shotgun, a cavalry with a shotgun as his lance. So think about that. Then we go to the rattan armor trait. Units with this trait have good, okay armor. They're the same as the normal armor, but they're very weak against fire. So think about that. Poisoned weapons trait. Units with this trait can cause poison to the enemy. So their weapons. So if you touch their weapons, or they touch you with their weapons, you get poisoned for a certain number of time. Repeating crossbow trait. Units with this trait can hull just haul a great number of arrows at you, but they're not a very accurate fire. So they can fire a lot of arrows at you, but they're not very accurate, so think about that. Soldiers of Fortune trait. This is in the newest season trait, so they're different. This units with this trait cost 10% less, or cost 10 less leadership, and their kits are 50% cheaper. So they're not free, but they're 50% cheaper. So instead of, let's say, 1,000 bronze for another unit, you only need 500 bronze for this unit. For this unit kits. Socanian pikes. Sorry, the name is very, very different than I normally see, but Socanian pikes trade. Units with this trait are great against cavalry, but weak against melee attacks when order brace weapon is active. That's an order brace weapons is again a different order that I want to talk about again in a different video or later. Light artillery trade. Units with this trait can fire small cannons / artillery that they can carry around, because of course carrying around big cannons you cannot do that, but they can carry small cannons / artillery, but they cannot at all do melee fighting. So if a unit gets close to them, they're dead. They cannot do anything. Shield bearers. Shield bearers trait. Units with this trait can hide behind shields when reloading. And then we go over to the three only neutral trades. The first neutral trade is peasant trade. Units with this trade, then they're peasants. They're not well-trained soldiers. Don't think high of them. So they can maybe look like pikemen or look like swordmen of whatever, but they're not fully trained soldiers. So they do less damage. They do less. They will not hold formation very good, or not defend very good as you think they can. So think about that. Then we got shield fighters trait. This is literally telling you that every unit with this trait can carry around shield that can protect themselves from arrows. Not fully protect them, but protect them a little bit better than having no shield at all. Then we have heavy javelins trait. What units with this trait have javelins that have more stopping power than normal javelins, but they carry less javelins in total on the battlefield. So they can, other javelin units can have more javelins at their back, but these don't. But they will do more damage and more stopping power and stuff. That were the three only neutral traits. Then we go to the 7 bad traits. The first bad trait is sluggish. Every end tier or end tree units have these, or mostly not rangers, but mostly fighting melee units or cavalry have this trait, and that's sluggish. Sluggish trait literally means units with this trait, they move around less quickly on the battlefield. Most of the times units with this trait have also the very heavy armor trait, which literally tells them they have very heavy armor, but because of that heavy armor they're sluggish, would cause them to move around less quickly than you want them to. So think about that. They can take a bigger punch, but they cannot move around that quickly. Then we have the weak spot trait. Unit with this trait will take more damage from behind than other units. These are mostly with shielded units. When you have a shield wall up, when you attack them from behind, they're dead. They're very weak. They take more damage from behind than other units. Then we have a cheap weapons trait. Every unit with this trait are not good against armored units. So they're not good against armored units. So use these cheap weapons units for light armored units. So no heavy armor, just light armor units. So that makes the attack that these archers can do way limited, because they can only attack a certain group of units. No volleys trait. This volley literally means every unit that has this trait cannot fire their weapons in a constant volley. They have to reload, or they have to take a certain amount of time, and it doesn't go as planned as you want them to. Then you have mediocre accuracy trait. Every unit with this trait has not that good accuracy. It has bad, it has good. It doesn't have good accuracy, it has more bad accuracy than you want them to. Of course, through veterancy you can actually crank that accuracy a little bit up, but it's still not that great. Then you have the poor shots trait. This is literally the same as mediocre accuracy, but poor shots trait is literally every unit with this trait has really bad accuracy than the mediocre accuracy. Then you have slow shots trait. Slow shots literally means long reloading time. They have a long reloading time, low reloading process, so they have no rapid firing. So it will take them longer in the overall time to fire off a volley. Right. I've just noticed that this video is going to take way more long if I wanted to explain orders as well and formations, so I'll keep that until the next video. I hope you enjoyed. So a heads up, next week we're going to talk about orders, trades, not trades because I explained that now. We're going to talk about orders that the units can have and what they do. And I'm going to show you formations and those orders to give you a little bit more of perspective from what they can do. So I hope you guys all enjoyed. This video is a little bit shorter than it usually is, but you know, it's better, I guess. And I hope to see you guys again next week. See you later.